finna get faded again. Cause a nigga just got off work. Trying to figure out this streaming, what you call it, streaming shit. We gonna start off with who the fuck just hit me up? Hold on. I'm gonna play some music. I'm gonna mute my mic. So many said that I wouldn't make it. Hop in the bed, I'm thinking about Franklin. I could've been dead. Niggas been thrilled. Hopped off the porch and went to go get it. Now I'm in the porch, the sky's the limit. Got dipped in the sauce, that like high floss. They say I'm a boss, the way I'm living. So many said that I wouldn't make it. Hop in the bed, I'm thinking about Franklin. I could've been dead. Niggas been thrilled. Hopped off the porch and went to go get it. Now I'm in the porch, the sky's the limit. Got dipped in the sauce, that like high floss. They say I'm a boss, the way I'm living. Critically acclaimed, they say I'm next. 14K gold around my neck. Now I'm up their way upset. Triple X the way I flex. Boss hog, 4 teeth gold. See light glisten when I smile. I ain't been this happy in a while. I ain't had shit till now. Music good, sonically it's wild. Hit my nigga tonic on the dial. Tell him it's about to go down. Hit the studio and burn it down. Had to move, put action to the muscle. Competition, get it on a double. Know these niggas wanna see me fumble, but while I win, I keep you niggas humble. So many said that I wouldn't make it. Hop in the bed, I'm thinking about Franklin. I could've been dead. Niggas been thrilled. Hopped off the porch and went to go get it. Now I'm in the porch, the sky's the limit. Got dipped in the sauce, that like high falls. They say I'm a boss, the way I'm living. So many said that I wouldn't make it. Hop in the bed, I'm thinking about Franklin. I could've been dead. Niggas been thrilled. Hopped off the porch and went to go get it. Now I'm in the porch, the sky's the limit. Got dipped in the sauce, that like high falls. They say I'm a boss, the way I'm living.
25-8 on the block, tryna grind when I go to sleep at night. Money stay on my mind, can't see nothing but the hundred, so I guess that I'm blind. Can't get through the door, send my bird through the blind. Through that lemon square, you can't through, we gon' spark something. Little nigga, big nuts, I'm boy nut. Find me an edge just to keep my mind going. Now for real. Smoke a nigga, burn out, do it all in one motion. We run them in there, man. You gotta stay focused. This game ain't no game, not a playlist you chose. Nah. Got locked up and did just to find my partner. Ain't no limit to what I do for this guala. Me and my cousin play killers and robbers. Disrespect the nation, guaranteed won't find us.
So many said that I wouldn't make it. Hop in the bed, I'm thinking about Franklin.
I go get it every day, nigga.
Niggas been thrilled. Hopped off the porch and went to go get it. Now I'm in the porch, the sky's the limit. Got dipped in the sauce, that like high falls. They say I'm a boss, the way I'm living. So many said that I wouldn't make it. Hop in the bed, I'm thinking about Franklin. I could've been dead. Niggas been thrilled. Hopped off the porch and went to go get it. Now I'm in the porch, the sky's the limit. Got dipped in the sauce, that like high falls. They say I'm a boss, the way I'm living.
I'm ballin'. I should get sponsored by Jordan, no spot and go get to the money, man. Part of my mission, I run it up, gotta go get it. I go for the 3 when that clock steady ticking. They dim the light down when I walk through the bed, and I keep me some money. And I fell in love with them 20s, 50s, and 100. Come like some fat in my pocket with hungry. I run through that pack till it ain't nothing left. Look to my right, then I glance to my left. Oh girl, let me dive in, I swim, I go flip. If it's a race, you saying I gotta be the first to get a piece of that cake. Money, it look like it came out the bank, but it came out the private deposit. It back in my pocket, smoking gas, got me high like a pilot. Pocket got me looking big like a lineman. State say I couldn't hustle, it come to my money, I swear I'm defined. Run it up, gotta go get it. Focused on money, I got an ambition. Look, they ain't know it, look. I was 13, jumped out the push and I came out the trench. Yeah, look, riding with my niggas, car full of stitches. Look, niggas play around, draw down, we with it. Niggas screaming down like fuck them, they gon' get it. Hold up, 200 rands on the SK.
Media costs keep rising. It's time to try Taboola.
Ride for my niggas, sliding in your city. And look, they say they ain't bout it. Yeah, we with it. We don't trap. We gon' press the issue. Nation.
Free that man, JBAK, man. Free that nigga, man. You know, he's a good nigga. He just, got, let the streets get him temporarily, and that got him 20 years. But, my nigga finna be out sooner rather than later. We just gonna, keep all in that. But, yeah, we just finna watch a couple videos. I'm finna get faded. Finna go in here, play the game, enjoy the fact that I ain't got work tomorrow, nigga. We in this hoe. Oh shit.
What's your situation right now? Because last time we did an interview in LA, you were still in a wheelchair. Are you still in the wheelchair now?
Nah, I'm walking. I'm performing now. It ain't 100%. I think I got on it too early, man. They might gotta go back in it, but I ain't got time. I ain't I ain't got time. I ain't running yet. You know what I'm saying? I'm supposed to be damn near almost trying to run yet. I ain't running yet. My leg, it seemed like my damn thing sticking out. Like you could hear it. But I mean, it ain't stopping nothing. I ain't on no track and field team, But it's kind of, they fucked me up.
I mean, do you still get angry about the situation when, you feel your leg and you're still in some pain? Do you still kind of flash back to the whole thing?
Nah. I don't have flashbacks on this shit.
One thing about you being a famous rapper and shit, even if you finna get retaliation or some shit, you can't verbalize that shit in the interview. A lot of my homies and shit, people back from Dallas and shit, they done got themselves jammed up by talking crazy on the interview. If you out there and you an artist, man, just keep it cool. Keep it G. Just be like, nah, you can't involve yourself in no activities. I know too many people that ran their mouth, whether it's to a female, whether it's on an interview, all this other random ass shit, bro. Y'all niggas just gotta keep it solid and know what to say. Even if you lying, just be like, alright, I ain't worried about, certain shit like that. Cause that's how niggas get jammed up. A similar situation happened to one of the homies back at the crib. So, yeah, man, you getting these interviews, just mind your business. If they ask you some crazy shit, don't even get upset. Just answer that shit with a smile. Even if you capping, just be like, man, I ain't worried about them niggas and shit like that. Cause, nigga, you ain't gotta prove shit to nobody, especially not these interview niggas. If it's anything this nigga Boosie is good at, he good at deflecting shit. He good at like disguising, what his true intentions and shit is. Let's go.
And nothing like that. I don't have fast legs. I about pressure, man. I don't have. It ain't nothing.
Well, let me tell you something, and I'm going to have to ask for a late pass on this. But I was going through your Spotify list this morning.
Yeah.
And, seeing what the biggest songs are for you right now.
Yeah.
And for whatever reason, and like I said, I'm going to need a late pass for this, I got to hear Mop With It for the first time.
Yeah.
And that is now my favorite song right now. I probably added 100 streams, this morning, just listening to that shit over and over again.
Me and Mo3 got a good album, bro. Me and Mo3 got a hard ass album, bro.
Yeah. Clearly, I didn't listen to it carefully enough the first time, because this song right here, especially the way Mo3 comes in on it.
Yeah. And just one of them days, all that, man. Just, hey, the album hard, bro.
Media costs keep rising. It's time to try Taboola.
I don't know what the point of that 2-minute video was, but let's see. Let's watch this Quando Rondo interview.
Did you know that the average adult has 5 to 20 pounds of toxic poop in their body at any given moment?
Toxic poop. Nobody wanna hear that.
So if you feel like music didn't work, what was gonna be your next route? If music didn't work for you,
Man, big bro, if music ain't work, I'd be in prison.
why you say you'd be in prison? That's pretty. That's tough.
Man, big bro, what's the odds of it?
You wasn't into sports or nothing like that, or?
Never.
So you was never into sports, because most people were like, oh, I was gonna go to the NBA, or you straight was in the streets.
And big bro, if I didn't make it in music, what's the odds of a young black man? What's the statistics?
You right.
In the graveyard of a prison bar.
You ever been in prison?
Nah, I've been a juvenile up the road and shit, but man, I look at that shit like, man, that shit been years ago. That was some kiddie shit. I never put myself in that position again.
Yeah, because I know a lot of people be like, you know, I would have, you know, opened this business or whatever.
But
So
before this lifestyle, I didn't know nothing. I didn't have no knowledge, wisdom, neither understanding.
You want customers from ads much cheaper and the scale much further? Our software Hyros will do that for you, or you don't pay for it. No, seriously.
I didn't know nothing but music. To this day, I don't know nothing but music.
So how did you know, a lot of people, it got come through all the time and be like, you know, trying to blow. You probably got hundreds of thousands of people trying to blow. What made you so special? What is your story? Like, how did you even catch attention? How did it even go? Like your first song, how did you even get the people attention?
Check this out. Check this out, big bro. God give the toughest battles to his toughest soldiers. Right. Big bro, if God know, if you go outside, get in your car and get in the car wreck that you will get paralyzed from the waist down, and for the rest of your life you're not gonna be able to live with that. You're gonna cry every day, and one day probably commit suicide because of that. I honestly feel like He's not gonna put you through that. If God felt like you will get in the car wreck, get paralyzed from the waist down, and fuck it, go ahead and act it out and still do what you gotta do, He probably will put you through that. God put His toughest soldiers through the toughest battles. Alright, they're saying God sent some blessings down, gift wrapped in presents for certain people. I must have been the chosen one, bit, bro. A chosen one.
Right. So you just uploaded a song and it just started catching, or?
Bit, bro. Man, I just been doing this shit all my life, bit.
Because a lot of people say this Illuminati. How the fuck you pronounce it? Illuminati? Yeah, Illuminati. Yeah. Yeah, a lot of people believe this shit so much, and I done heard they got shit about that everywhere, and they think that's the only way to get into it. For real, seriously. Seriously, so you just blow up, so people be wanting to know, how did he do it and I didn't do it? But you just explained though, maybe you chosen, right?
I ain't speaking on that.
Right, you ain't fucking with that. So look, man, I know you got a lot of shit going on. Honestly, how you feel about when you get death threats? Whenever you walk out your house, or you get on Instagram, you got people coming under your post and sending you death threats. How they make you feel? Do they make you feel down sometimes?
Big bro.
Do that shit focus your energy?
Check this out. However some shit come to me, that's how I'm about to go about that shit. Straight up. Hey, check this out. Big bro. Man, I got a daughter. Big bro. At this day, in this day and age, in this life,
You want customers from ads much cheaper and the scale much further?
Fam, why is there so many goddamn
for it.
ads?
No, seriously, if you put Hyros on your website, it takes 2 seconds, and you don't start getting
Brother, I feel like growing, everybody got to do it. Once upon a time, I was 15, and me and my niggas would be like, oh, they ain't about that life. And they homeboys is like, they ain't about that life. I'm at the age 9. But, bro, if you got a child, everybody about that life. Because I'm going home to my daughter, cuz. Straight up. Think it's a game. Bet, bro, I'm going home to Italy, Naomi, Denegal. Facts.
So that shit don't bother you?
Man, babe, I'm a grown ass man, babe. I don't, man, yeah. Death threat all you want to, babe, bro. Fuck that shit. That's just some words, my nigga. Be an action.
Right.
You feel me? I'm going home to my daughter.
Right.
And if I didn't, God called me.
Right.
I'm going home to my daughter, bit, bro. I'm not even the type of person to move without a firearm.
Right. So another question: what is loyalty to you? What a person like when you got somebody in your clique and they be like, I'm loyal. What do you look for? What is loyalty?
That's the number one thing I'm hurting from in life right now.
Right.
I feel like, check this out, bit, bro. I'ma keep.
That's the best way. That's how they teach you in school.
All right, check this out, bit, bro. I'm dead broke, $0. 600 followers on Instagram, McDonald's job, struggling to get to work every day. I got 4 partners. They got no reason. I got 4 partners, all right? Man, bit, bro. I got 4 partners, all right? And I be like, cuz, come get boy, I'm in the bed, boy, you dead, boy. Hang up. You feel me? Check this out. Flip side. I'm a $4 million nigga. 3.1 million followers on Instagram. 4 cars, 3 houses in the condo. Plenty bitches, plenty lean, plenty weed. Fly wherever I want to. You dig what I'm saying? I'm in San Diego at a studio. You in LA 3-4 hours from San Diego. And I be like, boy, I'm stuck out here by myself, boy. Man, the nigga pulling up. So I don't even know what loyalty is no more, bro. Like, where do that come in at? But there's only one person I feel like loyalty gonna come in. That's my daughter. This is my daughter. I love her. Right. She love me. She don't know about, this is my daughter, brother. All she know is this my daddy. All I know is this my daughter. Ain't nothing gonna come between that bit, bro. That like a son and his mama. Ain't nothing coming between that. Right. If you in the house with your mama and daddy, and your mama and daddy get a divorce, you ain't about to go stay with your daddy if you a little boy. Shit, no. Man, daddy be too mean. Oh, my dukes. Love my dukes.
Right.
For real.
So I want to ask you another question. How little Timmy doing? Do you still talk to him?
Come on, man.
I know he be having a lot of shit,
Did
you know that the average
ads, bro? This the 3rd ad in a like 5-minute video. Actually, this
group just sitting there, rotting away inside their intestines and colon.
The fuck?
He keeping his head up.
Man, we like this, man, bro.
I feel like that's a good definition of loyalty right there.
With 2K finally getting back in the football gaming world this year, it's time to talk about the 5 most likely football games we could see coming from them starting this year. And some of these games we're going to talk about are actually pretty interesting. I think some of them will surprise you. Now, about a year ago around this time, 2K made a huge announcement that they were returning to the NFL video game world, that they had acquired the license to use real NFL teams and stadiums and things like that. And then a little bit later, they even announced that they finally got the rights to actual players as well. Now, we did find out that it was to make arcade style games, and while they're not going to be simulation games, there's a lot of interesting things they could be doing going forward, and there is still a simulation style football game that they look like they could potentially be interested in making. So we're going to talk about all of those in this video. If you are new and you want to stay up to date with the latest NFL 2K news, it should start rolling out soon, as the first game is set to drop later this year, probably around the time that Madden drops during football season. Make sure to subscribe, turn the bell icon on so you don't miss any of the updates on these videos, as they're going to start rolling out very shortly. You know, more than half of you that watch the videos aren't even subscribed, so if you want to change that, you can do it below, and you can always unsubscribe at any time if you get tired of watching my videos. Now, I've already done some other videos on this channel over the past year talking about what the next NFL 2K game will possibly look like, but today I want to go deeper and talk about the 5 most likely games that they will be putting out over the next few years, because they're going to be putting out more than one. They stated several different games and experiences, and that gets me excited because we're going to finally have more options in the football gaming world. Starting with number 1 on the list, I want to talk about NFL 2K Street. Now, the Street series was the most popular arcade style of football games that we had ever seen, and since we know in terms of NFL that
Y'all know a game I miss? I miss that Def Jam shit. What the fuck happened to that game? I guess we'll look at it later, but it's just something I just thought about.
2K has to start with making arcade games, at least until the simulation license is up in a few years with EA Sports. We got to stick to pretty much arcade style games when talking about the NFL. But again, there are some simulation games I'm going to mention later in the video that 2K could also be working on. But for NFL 2K Street, it just seems like the best thing to come out of the gate with. And the reason I think that that will be the first game they release is because the Street series is already solidified. It's something that everybody loved. And if you can update that and make it a 2021 version of what the old NFL Street games were, I think you're going to get plenty of people excited. And for your first game, you want to make a big splash. You don't want to come with something that's too arcadey, something that's too childish. You want to come with something that both young people but the nostalgia crowd could love too. Even if you love simulation football, there's a good chance you enjoyed the NFL Street series when it was a thing. I don't think people really have a
Yo, if y'all got any way to stop these ads, bro, please let me know. Cause this shit getting annoying as fuck.
I don't think people really have a problem with arcade football or arcade sports games. It's just you want to know what you're getting into when you play the game. The problem that the Madden series has a lot of times is it's marketed as simulation, but there's a lot of aspects of the game that can feel a bit arcadey at times, so it's not really what people are signing up for. But when you go into NFL Street, you know exactly what you're getting. You're getting big plays, big hits, players running on the wall. And I think if you look at the old games and think of what they could do to make them better in 2021, adding maybe a deeper career mode, making a little bit of a franchise mode in there, a good online play with some different features there, I think NFL 2K Street would be the perfect game to launch with to get everybody excited, and then in the years to come you can start diving into some of these other games. Now that brings us to number 2, and this is a game I've covered a lot. This is a game that not as many people are excited about, so let's just get this one out the way before continuing on, and that is NFL 2K Playgrounds. Now the reason I think they're going to do this is because if you look at what they've done with their other games, it just seems likely that they're going to do this for the NFL as well. They purchased NBA Playgrounds and launched the second version of the game under their company, and they did make some improvements to it. They made it a little bit better. They added some more stuff to it, and it honestly is a very fun game. It's just a lot more arcadey than an NFL Street. It's kind of more of like an NBA Jam type of vibe. It's a little bit more over the top. It's 2-on-2, but it is fun pick up and play. They also did the same thing with their wrestling license. They made WWE Battlegrounds, which is pretty much the wrestling version of NBA Playgrounds. So they already have 2 of those super arcade style games that are very similar in their portfolio. It really doesn't shock me that they would want to do this with the NFL as well, and I think for the NFL this could still be a fun pick up and play game. This is the type of game that I feel like you play with your friends. Your buddies come over, you're hanging out, maybe having a few drinks, and you just want to put on something that's not too serious. You want to play around, have fun, and it's not got to be super overly like tactical. I think that's what NFL Playgrounds is good for. It's good for the occasional jump online when you're just trying to play really quickly and not take things too serious. But the problem problem with a game like this is the replayability doesn't last too long. You play it for a month and then you probably aren't going to pick it up much again. Now with number 3 on the list, we start to get a little bit more interesting, and that is NFL 2K Blitz. Now I don't know if they would call it Blitz just because this has already been done in the past. They might change the name, but just giving you something to visualize. Think of the old NFL Blitz games. Now these are similar to NFL Street, except instead of taking place on the street, they took place in the actual league. Now this is a game where they can utilize the real NFL stadiums because they do have the license for not only the teams and the players, but also stadiums. Now if you do like an NFL Playgrounds or NFL Street, you can't really take advantage of the stadiums like that because they're more of an outside style of game. With an NFL 2K Blitz, now you take advantage of that stadium license. It's basically like NFL football inside the stadiums with real fans, announcers, and all that good stuff, but it's arcade. Instead of being 11 on 11, it would probably be 7 on 7. Hey, it possibly could even still be 11 on 11 as long as it's more arcade style in terms of a gameplay and the player models don't look exactly like they do in real life. I think this is another great option and something they definitely will look to do because again, it's a proven model. It's a series that was very, very fun, and while it did run its course and then people got tired of it, that was so long ago. People would love for you to bring that back, but it would be much better than those old games. Think more of like Blitz the League, which is a game that came out not too long ago. A lot of people like that as well. Imagine a company like 2K with all that money they have behind it if they made a Blitz the League style game for 2021. This is a game where they could utilize those deep franchise modes that we've come to know in their NBA 2K series, right? You're still gonna have the arcade style gameplay, you're gonna have some of the over top stuff, but you can actually have a deep franchise mode, maybe even a deep career mode, and that's what a lot of people are hoping for with the 2K game. We know it's gonna be arcade, but a lot of people have said, hey, I can play the arcade style gameplay if it comes down to it, as long as there's some depth in the game in terms of a good franchise mode, a good career mode. As long as I have something with a lot of depth, I can get over the fact that the gameplay isn't going to be simulation. So I think with a Blitz the League style game, they can do this and do that very well. Number 4.
Yo, this the like 8th ad in like 5 minutes.
Hold the presses, roll a second, keep the game close to my heart, my presence.
Well, number 4 on the list, we're going to get even more interesting. What if they make a game called NFL Park? Now, not to be confused with an NFL Street or an NFL Playgrounds, this one's a little bit different. Think of NBA 2K's Park. It's one of the biggest things going for the 2K franchise. When you look at 2K, you have a My Player that you can play a career mode with, but then you can take them online into the park. But the thing is, when you take them into the park, it's still a simulation style game, but it's not a simulation style game, if that makes sense. Here's what I mean. The player movement, the archetypes, the player builds, the graphics, like all that stuff is what you see in the regular simulation game. However, instead of playing 5-on-5, you're playing 2-on-2 or 3-on-3, and you can play various different rules and you're playing outside. So it's not a simulation environment or a simulation actual game, but the movement and the bodies are still simulation. And I think that is something very interesting because that's kind of how you have the little bit of a loophole between making a simulation game and it not being simulation, because they can't technically make a simulation football game. If you give them an NFL Park, you can have a real player archetype. You could have real player movement, actual physics style movement. Obviously, it's going to be driven by animations, but you know what I mean. It's not going to be overpowered, over the top arcade. But instead of being 11-on-11, you're playing 5-on-5. You're playing 7-on-7, and you create that open world environment. So with NFL Street and NFL Playgrounds, you don't get that style of a game. It's more kind of just sticking to certain modes. With an NFL Park game, you can have that entire open world where you can go to different places, you can buy different things for your character, you can play on different fields that have different rule sets, kind of similar to what Madden has with the yard in terms of the rule sets. There's different fields and locations you can go to, and each one has their own rule set. Well, 2K can make that, but just make it like their online park for 2K where you can actually free roam and do those types of things. I think that would be huge, and I think that's a game that would really take off for them because it's, again, a proven model that works. It's one of the reasons 2K blew up to be as big as it did. That mode garners a lot of hype and attention. If they were able to replicate just that exact online park environment, but do it for a football game with the free roam and all that stuff, I think that would really make a lot of noise, and that would be pretty huge. And it's a reason I think that EA wanted to put that into their Madden game, is because I think they knew that 2K would eventually come with something like that, so they wanted to get that head up maybe a year or two early and kind of start implementing that themselves, because they can see a situation where they might have to rival with something like that. Now, the 5th and final game is where it gets super interesting, because this is where they can go all out out simulation, and that is making NCAA 2K22 or 2K23, whatever year they can get it out. Hear me out on this.
Yo.
Out. Hear me out on this. We know that college football video games are coming back because EA Sports announced EA Sports College Football. They said it would be out in the next couple of years. They were finally able to work out deals to license the stadiums, the teams, the logos, the mascots, and soon they're going to be able to license the players once some more NCAA rules go into effect so that they can use real player name and likeness. This is not exclusive. It's not like the NFL. So what if 2K says, hey, we want to get into this as well, because 2K seems very, very interested in getting back in the football gaming world. We already know they're doing the NFL stuff. Why wouldn't they want to take a stab at this as well? For multiple reasons. Number one, this is their chance to show that they can make a great simulation football game again. And if they could prove that with making an NCAA game, that would get the NFL's attention to probably open up the license next time it comes up for renewal. Now, the only reason I would think they wouldn't do this is just from a money standpoint. You have two rivaling games in a market that's not huge. The football gaming market isn't as big as like the NBA or the soccer market. And then when you go to college football, I think it might even get a little smaller. And a lot of people say, well, if them and EA both made a game, more people would choose 2K. But I don't really think that would be the case in terms of a football game, just because EA actually made good NCAA games. People love those games. They said they were better than Madden. Also, I think EA would probably be able to get the game out a little bit earlier, and you'd be able to transport your player into Madden, and seeing as Madden's the only simulation football game, that would matter to people as well. So I think at most it would be like a half and half split, which would mean you might not make as much money that you invest into it. You might not make as much back. But then again, with microtransactions, we know 2K and EA are both huge on microtransactions. Maybe in that way it would be worth it to them, but I think it would be worth it because they can finally create a simulation game and show the NFL what they can do, and that might be worth more to them in the long run. And since the NCAA is finally coming around and becoming easier to work with, 2K might take a stab at that. However, they did stop making their football games back in like 2002 for NCAA games, so they went out long before, you know, they had to stop doing them altogether. So maybe they would be interested, maybe they wouldn't. I think this one's more of a wild card, but definitely something to pay attention to. And as far as another all-pro football game, I think a lot of people would like to see that. I don't think that's completely off the table either. I think it depends on how well the other games perform, but having an unlicensed game, I still think in today's world is probably pretty hard to pull off and get a lot of interest in it. So I think that one probably won't happen, but you never know. If the other games do well, maybe they take a stab at doing that again. I hope you enjoyed this video and found it helpful. Check out some of these other videos right here. Subscribe if you're new, and as always, I will see you guys next time.
It is dope that 2K got the license to do more NFL games, because I can't wait till they come out with some good shit, because I'm definitely finna be the first nigga to buy that hoe. Oh, Jesus. Let's watch this.
So there's a clip on the, what's it called? Fresh and Fit podcast.
Shout out to Fresh and Fit podcast. Talk to them today.
I tuned into this clip because, you know, everybody's been telling us that we got to fuck with them because they have kind of a poppin' podcast coming out of Miami, I believe. Mm-hmm. And there's one clip in particular that's like 6 minutes long. This is one of the only clips I watched on their podcast, but it's a couple of dudes, fucking 10 girls all sitting at this table. I can't even imagine what this podcast would be like if we had 10 girls sitting here.
And that's most of their content.
Right.
They have girls all the time, and they talk about it. And like I said, Kevin Samuels, he calls in all the time. But usually there's like 6 or 7 women at the table, and they ask questions, and they go back and forth. Right. So shout out to Fresh and Fit. They be kicking girls out all the fucking time.
Really?
Yes, all the fucking time,
That's
bro.
Awesome.
Yeah, they kick girls out all the time because some of them get real. Like Kevin Samuels roasted one of the feminists on there.
They had.
I think I saw that fucking.
He went
clip.
on there.
That was like that chick with like the blonde, like short hair.
She was. I think she was white and blonde.
Yeah.
He fucking destroyed her, bro.
Wow.
Kevin Samuels broke her the fuck down.
I gotta check that out because this girl I know hit me up when I posted a clip on my story of one of the viral clip. I posted the clip. This girl I know hits me up. She goes, fuck you for not tagging me in that clip. She's one of the girls in the I'm like, you seriously think that I was looking at all the fucking girls there enough to like, did it even cross my mind that I might know these people sitting at the table? Anyway, so there's this guy, Mr. Organic, who I recently touched down with on Instagram, and he has a green beard, which is something that I might have to experiment with myself. I've never thought about dyeing my beard, but there's a lot of gray in it now at this point. So if I show up looking like I got fucking ecto cooler in my beard, you'll know what's going on. Anyway, He's sitting there, Mr. Organic. We're talking about Fresh and Fit right now, buddy. I'm Fresh and Fit. You know about them, though? The Fresh and Fit podcast?
Hell yeah.
Okay.
In Miami, right?
So he's sitting there, and he's giving a little bit of a lecture for whatever reason about the kind of woman that a guy who apparently he's pretty successful, or at least he seems to feel very successful the way he's talking about himself, basically saying at a certain point as a guy, once you become successful or whatever, that you want more from a woman than what a basic ass dude wants from a woman. A basic ass dude might just want a hot girl that he could take to the club. Once you get to a certain level, all of a sudden you're looking at a hot girl you can just take to the club and you're thinking like, there's a million of you. Like he was basically saying, I've had money and been in business for a long time, so I'm not impressed by the same shit that a lot of guys are. This girl really feels like she knows something, and she starts responding to him in the clip and telling him, successful men, all they want from a woman, I think of the quote, is for her to bring inspiration to the table, aka cooking, wearing lingerie, providing him with sex, etc. I wish I had a heart monitor on when I was watching this clip, because it made me so fucking mad that this bitch has actually been misled her whole entire life. But she's right. All these guys want from her is to basically just be a sex object. Because
first off, females, niggas want more than just a bitch they can fuck. But I'm gonna let this nigga preach real quick.
you're a fucking idiot and you have nothing else to offer. You look okay, sure, but you have nothing going on between your fucking ears. And she's just telling this guy that that's how the world is. And he's sitting there telling her, no. When you get to this point in your life, you want somebody that you're going to be able to build something with, that you're going to feel inspired by, that is going to be.
She said inspiration.
Yeah, but when she says inspiration, she means like she literally wants to like sit on the couch in lingerie and make you, I guess, make more money trading crypto.
Most of their content,
she wants to be able to call herself a muse on social media.
Most of
she is not. She's
most
the
of their
that.
content is women who think like that, and they get into it back and forth. It's like I would say the younger version of women that Kevin Samuels talks to.
Insane.
Yeah, that's what this shit's like.
I haven't watched enough of this shit to really judge, but it seems like they're kind of doing the thing that Kevin Samuels does, where you get these girls and you actually find out what they're really thinking. But instead of getting like, you know, Kevin Samuels' demographic is kind of like grown-ass black women that are past their prime and are wondering why they can't get into a relationship. These guys seem like they're really getting the hose from the club to just come sit on this podcast. And that's one thing that you never really realize. When you're in the club and you're looking around, you're
no cap, ask my nigga Shrimp Gang. That was absolutely my idea when we came in with the Off the Lick podcast. But it didn't go like that. He wanted to be more, you know, intellectual with it, so I respect that. But my idea was to like talk to thoughts. But we're gonna talk about that later.
Seeing all these hot girls, you might not realize that they're all idiots. And that you could barely have a fucking fourth grade conversation with them, because that's what I got out of watching that clip. Is like, these guys are giving voice to the really good looking women that have a fucking IQ of like 14.
And I seen one that was mind blowing to me, right? So they're talking to this girl and she's like, yeah, my guy that I was with, right? He cheated on me so much. He cheated on me with 5 of my friends or something like that.
Oh my fucking God. That means
and
you
I'm
have
like,
no self-respect.
I'm like, this is a pretty girl too. And then basically they break down like, well, was he paying for everything? Like, yeah. Okay. He paid for her to go to school. And once she was done with school, she was like, okay, I don't need you no more. So it was like, basically you let him cheat on you with fucking, with 5 of your friends, and he was putting you through school. And as soon as you graduated school, you didn't want to do that shit no more. It was cool. And
terrible people. We got to get better.
And then on top of that, she was saying, yeah, well, I did porn for a year. I don't want a guy to like, you know, basically judge her because she only did porn for a year and she doesn't do it no more. And bro is like, what the fuck? Of course a guy is going to judge you off of that shit. You know what I mean?
I'm pro sex worker. So I don't think I should maybe be like judging girls as harshly for that. But yeah, obviously when you're doing porn, you also are just accepting that there's like a cultural reality of how a lot of guys are going to act about that, how a lot of jobs are going to act about that. You got to be ready for that.
But most of the guys that be like, for me having a lot of homegirls and I talk to them about these type of situations, most of the guys that
these women seem to encounter and they have these problems with are guys that have absolutely nothing to bring to the table too. It'll be bum ass hobosexual ass niggas that just be fucking the homegirls to have somewhere to stay. You feel me? And like they be the most controlling of like, oh, why are you wearing this? Why you got this many guy friends? Why are you da-da-da? And it's just at the end of the day, it comes down.
Facts. Honestly, niggas that ain't got shit going, they be real overprotective about their girl. Cause they don't want them to run into a nigga like me.
Like an insecurity thing, and I feel like a lot of men, if we like, I mean, we all at this table, I could say, are probably in a different predicament than like, you know, a guy that's like down bad and just happens to like look up on a girl that has a lot of money and like popularity or whatever. Those are the guys that be the most insecure, that be trying to control their bitches because they don't got it.
And see, this is what I was telling Yazzie earlier, is that women may not, I'm sorry.
I wish you could actually play like a recording of what you were actually saying to Yassi, where you're just like, you date blah blah blah. You were just like telling her your friends are ugly. Like
no. I didn't say your friends
in the other room.
No. She said that she didn't like the way Kevin Samuels portrayed and how he talks, right? So I said, okay. If I use the same analogy with Yuri. I said, if Yuri said, hey, I want a girl like Kim Kardashian right now, and I'm not going to get with somebody until I get that. And if I told him, hey, Yuri, you're out of your fucking mind and think you're going to get Kim Kardashian, I said, is that being mean? She said, no. So I said, so what's the difference of telling a woman who looks not very attractive, who doesn't have a lot going for herself, that she's going to get a man that makes 7 figures that's in the top 10% of all men? It doesn't make no fucking sense. And that's basically what I was trying to tell her. I'm like, hey, you got homegirls that you call yourself that they're not attractive, right? She's like, yeah. And then said, yeah. So, and they have thoughts that they're going to get a nigga like Pooh Shiesty or something like that. Like, she says, yeah, I have to tell them all the time, you won't get them. Exactly. So what's the difference between a man telling you that and somebody else telling you that?
And just horny as fuck.
And I also said that women equate guys for the most part based off what we can provide for them.
Hell yeah. And that's why, if you think about it, like with Yuri, like Yuri is, as a guy, Yuri's looks are not holding him back. If Yuri had $10 million, his looks immediately are not whatever. But then meanwhile, for like, you know, if Yuri, if with a woman, it's kind of it's not really like that. If like a woman has $10 million and she looks like Rosie O'Donnell,
I'll fuck the shit out of Rosie O'Donnell.
Me too.
Yeah, but you're a fucking, like, you're really trying to live off a girl though. You're trying to use every part of the buffalo.
And see, and that's the thing.
That's
right?
weird. I never heard that analogy before.
Oh my
That's
god.
you. It's like, I'm not just using your pussy. I'm gonna use your whip. I'm gonna use your couch. I'm gonna jerk off in these tissues.
I got my own couch.
Yeah, but you could always use more.
Okay, and let's say you're a great guy, right? And let's look what society has did, right?
Yeah.
You have a song like No Scrubs, TLC made. I don't want no scrub. Sitting in your best friend's ride, right? Yeah. You can be a great guy going through hard times, and you're telling women don't fuck with that guy. And then you got songs now,
bro. It be so many tweets of girls be like, yeah, like niggas want you to hold them down, like on their way up. Like, I'll see you at the top. Like, you know, like I won't even give you that chance until you're already there.
But when it's reversed and we say we don't want a woman that we have to build up, it's like, oh, you're the fucking devil. Oh, that's fucking wrong. Oh, that's that. And that's basically what I was telling Yazzie. I'm like, the message, the way that he does it may not be the best way because it comes off as mean, but he's telling the truth. And until people get a fix of reality, they're going to be in fucked up situations.
And a lot of women, the shocking thing to them about Kevin Samuels' content is that, okay, here is some content, here's an arena, an environment in which you're not going to get treated like a victim. And I think so many women in American culture are just not used to that because they're completely used to never being held accountable or being at fault. And so to see a guy actually say, like, no, like, you're not a victim and actually you're going to be judged on your own merits just like men, at least while we're on this show, is unbelievably shocking to them.
Yeah, and the thing is like what Bossa Nova said. He said, you don't have to call in. So if everything is going right in your life and you're getting these men that you so-called want, why are you even calling in to get advice from me anyway when you already know what I'm about to say? Because you're not getting that and you don't understand why.
Yeah. I mean, I think that most of the women calling in are kind of acknowledging that there's something wrong. They just also don't want to be held accountable for it. And they all think that they're going to be the one to out-argue Kevin Samuels, even though he's pretty much like based his entire life around being able to win this argument.
And he talks to men the same way.
Yeah.
God damn, I don't even gotta say shit. They just said it. Took the words out of my mouth. Let's watch some Kevin Samuels. Fuck these fucking ads.
Hi there, welcome to Forward. Come on in. I'm Dr. Nate Favi.
I don't want to call you infamous because I don't think you're infamous. Okay, I don't believe in that. They call me infamous, but we got Kevin Samuels here. The winos begged. This your camera?
That's my camera.
Yes,
all right, that's my camera.
You have your own personal camera. They begged for this.
Okay.
I mean, I get DMs. They're like, Tasha, Kevin Samuels. And I remember, like, I watched you years ago.
Mm-hmm.
This is before you got, like, really big. And then when I saw you, I was like, oh, he done. Okay.
Yeah.
I like it. And I do have to say, the camera doesn't do you justice. The pictures don't do you justice. You look absolutely amazing. And I did tell you that when you came here, so I am not pandering to you.
Yes, she did. She said, first thing you said is, oh, you're really tall.
I was like, you're tall, everybody's short. But everybody tells me because I look big on camera. They're like, oh my God, you're so short. And I'm like, whatever. Anyway, but welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you for sitting in traffic.
Oh, my pleasure. I was excited to come do this one. I mean, as I was saying that all this overnight success has happened, but I really wanted to make sure that I like people who do work, and I've watched your platform grow.
Thank you.
So I was like, well, if I'm going to sit down, and I want to sit down with the people who are putting in the kind of work that I admire. Because you know how it is to be on that side of the camera versus this side. So, yeah, let's get to it.
Yeah, we're going to get right into it. But first, okay, because you're in the wine cellar, we have some wine. Have you ever drank the Shannon Ridge? It's a Petite Shiraz.
No, I haven't.
Okay, we're going to try it today?
Sure.
I wish I had my Bordeaux glasses out, but we got these. I'm going to let you, since you are the guest, do the tasting. What you smell?
Petite Shiraz. Where's this from?
This is Lake County, California. Yeah, Lake County. Yeah, 1996, yeah. You like it? If you don't, look around. Because you are, have you told your viewers that you are a sommelier? Like
they know. I mean, that's like no offense to the Jamaicans. That's like a Jamaican. I've done a lot of stuff.
Me too.
But that's how I got into sales, is working at the Pappas Corporation as a head waiter and a sommelier for the Pappas Corporation.
Oh my God. So you were in the service industry as well?
Yes.
I got my wine knowledge. I was getting drunk on the
go.
shift and I'm playing. You like it?
I do.
Okay. All right. Let me go ahead and pour my guest up. Now, first, listen, I'm just going to jump right into it. After a certain situation that we had go down on the channel a few weeks ago.
Okay.
Everybody was in my DM. Please, Tasha, get his ass. And I'm like, why? He's telling the truth. I grew up with all men. I have 4 cousins who are my brothers.
Okay.
And everything that you've preached, that's everything that they taught me.
Okay.
Wait, stop right there. 31,000 in a day, fully automated,
ads,
without having to do
what
anything.
The fuck?
And the crazy thing is, you watching this ad can also fully automate.
Fuck that ad.
Okay. And which is funny because I grew up with all women.
Really?
My mother, her 2 sisters had no children, and my grandmother. My father has 11, 13 of us. I really don't know how many kids my father has. Let me get close to the mic. So growing up in the 70s, I heard the women's point of view over and over and over and over again. And so I've talked to men for the most part of my career, but growing up with women, hearing how women talk when they smoking and drinking and playing Al Green and chicken is fried, I'm like, well, you get the truth behind the scenes, and the way men and women think are really different. And I think the stuff that I'm saying is the stuff that guys are like, they said in the barbershop, on the basketball court. But it used to be okay to say it, but we went to sleep and woke up, and now we got this cancel culture. And the bottom line is this: we pay the price when we're not
Hold
together.
on, y'all. I'll be right back.
And for us black folks, more than anything else, we have such a fractured family, and our situation ain't like it was when I remember growing up. So I don't say the stuff that I say, the salacious stuff, the stuff that gets clipped. It's never to hurt, but it's the stuff that obviously gets clicks and gets views. But if people would take a chance to just sit down and watch a broadcast from end to end and just sit down in good faith and try to hear, they'd probably be shocked that they may agree with more than they disagree with.
One thing that I love, and I get dragged about it on my channel, is you being absolute honest with our sisters.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's so irritating these days. I try to wrap my mind around it, and I hear them, they come for me on the internet like,
Mm-hmm.
how you get a husband? And I'm like, first of all, I don't pander to men.
Mm-hmm. Right.
I've never been that type.
Right.
I've never been that pick me type. I've always been myself. I've always embraced myself, whether short hair, no
Mm-hmm.
makeup. I'm not, you look great, by the way, but listen, I just got my first Louis bag. You know what I'm saying? I'm a country girl. You know what I'm saying?
Believe it or not, I am too. I'm country bougie.
Okay.
I'm from Oklahoma.
Wow.
And my family is military and then factory workers.
See, I'm a military brat as well. Yeah.
That's why I respect work.
Mm-hmm.
But one thing that my grandparents, they worked for, she was the domestic, so she worked for this Jewish family. Shouldn't say that word on the algorithm. But anyway.
It's okay.
So anyway.
You didn't say anything wrong.
So I grew up with people we were poor, but I know we were poor. But they moved in a different way. They pushed us they pushed school and pushed, you are part of the Samuels family and you have a reputation to uphold. So I got a chance to be exposed to things by going to different parts of town, but then I still had to go back to the projects.
Mm.
So even when I'm doing all this stuff later on in my life, I still remember I like a 2-piece and a biscuit. I like fried catfish. I'm much more of a hot
You eat
sauce.
fish and grits?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
Then you Southern then.
I'm very Southern. And the thing is, I say country bougie. I like all that stuff, but if I don't have it, it didn't define me, but I do like it. So I don't ever try to get too full and say, well, you got to be this way. I don't expect people to be like me. I expect folks to be the best version of themselves and then let life come to you. So, but yeah, most people really don't watch it. They watch the clips, which is...
Let's not waste any time because I know you're busy. 2 ways to get your first or next customer using nothing but your phone, $5, social media. And the best part is it takes less than...
It's clips.
It amazes me, not to say I'm never trying to discourage women from coming on your platform, but the ones that do. And it's like, girl, what are you doing? Why are you setting yourself up? Like, and you always find an angle and you are very respectful until I guess something gets said and they don't like it. And of course it's your show.
Mm-hmm.
And listen, my hands always go down to people who can handle viewers.
Yeah.
I can't do it.
Yeah.
I can't do it, and I won't do it. They're like, Tasha, can you please do a call-in show? No, because I'm gonna cuss y'all ass out. It's a wrap. So my hands go down, but I remember the first time like you actually went like super viral was you telling the girl that she's an average 5.
Mm-hmm.
Now I remember, I believe it was the Discovery Channel. They did a documentary. On, I don't know if you remember it. I can't remember the name. I was trying to find it for the show, but they actually did like a dating pool. Like, and Ricky Lake did something similar back in the day. Like a woman, she said, hey, I want to meet a dentist. I want to meet a man with some money. And they said, well, first of all, you have to be around men with money. You can't just say, oh, I'm in the projects. I want a guy with money. Well, the only guys in the projects with money sell dope.
There you go.
Okay, so that's what you're going to be exposed to. And so as you move up in life, as you mature, okay, there are certain circles that you want to get in and you have to act apart.
Right.
And so I mean, as hard as it is, and I know it's embarrassing, and I know a lot of women, you know, they get embarrassed because they're out. Your platform's big. Yeah. It's huge. And congratulations on that.
Thank you.
I know the haters can say what they want to say, but you sitting there.
Right.
You built that.
Right.
So, you know, going live, you're consistent, you're disciplined. But I mean, I think it's absolutely refreshing to see someone, and this is the reason why you've grown so much, tell the absolute truth.
Can I share something with you?
Absolutely.
So that infamous call, which is infamous by no stretch of the imagination for several things, but I woke up to because I had another woman that I talked to on Instagram, and we were doing this whole you kind of overvaluing yourself kind of thing. And I found this was at the bottom of one of my comment section, and the woman basically said, I'm 33 and I got a 10-year-old son, and me and my ex have been separated for 7 years, but watching your platform and videos religiously made me realize some things that I can be doing better. And now me and my husband are working on getting back together.
Oh, wow.
And see, that's the stuff that people don't see in the clip. They'll see that, oh, you're trying to say this to make her feel this way. No. And it didn't start off that way, honestly. It got down to that path.
No, I saw the entire clip and I was agitated for you.
Well, and the thing is,
because I was like, girl, click up. What are you doing?
Well, and the thing is, it's like, it's okay to want what you want, but we're not entitled to anything. And if you're demanding something more than you are, that's fine. But the people who want that have something too. It didn't get to be contentious. But see, what happens more than often than anything else is starting a conversation, because for the longest time, men haven't felt free to say anything because they'll get shouted down, cussed out, canceled. I mean, needless to say, after that clip, that's when all the heat really started, because they're like, oh, who is this to say that, such and so forth.
Well, people, I mean, they took that clip and they were angry. I must admit, when I first saw it, I was like, damn.
Oh, yeah.
But then I had to go back and watch the entire clip, and I was just like, she was really being condescending. You know, she was, and you know, I'm a woman, I can say it. You know what I'm saying? And I know you sometimes want to say more, and out of respect for, you know, certain people's situations, you back off and you just, you know, you stick to.
I do my best.
Yeah.
Sometimes I try to, and I had a call last night, and the young lady said, you know,
excuse me.
I wish we could help to moderate this message a little bit more for my generation. I'm like, well, if you look from where I was a year ago, I've moderated quite a bit because, one, I don't treat everybody the same. I can have a horrible call, and then I'll go woosah and re-engage, because you got to keep on moving.
That energy, I don't see how you handle that every call.
Well, I come from a background of corporate sales, and you know, and you deal with a lot of rejection. Yeah. I mean, my job was to get told no 48 times a day, and then you have to realize that, one, you can't take it personal, because oftentimes it's not you. Number one, number two, my goal, I go into all this stuff with good faith. I really am trying to help people get what it is they say they want. Now, is it always possible? Don't know. I mean, but when people have gone back into my catalog and seeing how I spoke the same way to men, actually I was more direct with guys. It's just that we're not accustomed to seeing. We're accustomed to seeing you do no wrong, think like a woman, think like a man, act like a lady. We're not accustomed to any kind of pushback in our community, and that may make people feel good. But I'm looking at the outcomes, both my male clients and my female clients. I have women who are like, I want to get married, I want to have a husband, and this and that. And I'm like, all right, but you're all looking for the same handful of men, and you overlook guys who are over here because you feel like you're up here.
Well, those are women to me, and I was talking to one of my show producers about this today. I think those are women that want to be affirmed by other women.
Okay.
So they get a man that's of status. Okay.
Oh, yeah.
He has his own money. And it's kind of like, oh, look what I got. Because I'm going to be honest with you. I have family members. I have friends. They are label happy.
This is
they
some real
are
talk, y'all.
car
Y'all
happy.
gotta fuck with this
the biggest,
podcast.
most nicest house. And who are they doing it for? Other women. And sometimes when they do get those men of status, they don't know how to, I guess, participate
Mm-hmm.
in a relationship, having
finish this a
kids and
little
trying
later.
to balance and trying to
I'ma go
impress
ahead and,
everybody. And I'm like, where
play
do
my
we
favorite song.
get so aesthetic versus looking at someone's character? Like, I
Make sure y'all check that out, because I'm sure as hell finna too. I'm just a little too drunk right now. So I'm finna get on the game. If y'all want to see me play the game, I'm finna be on shortly. Give me about 30 minutes after this live stream. And yeah, I'm gonna be on Madden, handing out some L's. We gonna end it out by playing one of my favorite songs at this current time. It's some inspirational shit, just to keep your creative juices running. Pause. We finna get into this shit.
Hey, that probably take her.
Rapping my job, but I'm not like the rest. I'm not the biggest, but I feel like the best. I did that time behind that wall, gon' put me to the test. I left the fake ones in the past and shit it on the rest. I seen them biters in the street, can't tell me that I ain't blessed. They let me free, hopped in the whip like fuck the destination. Waited my whole life for this, I'm just about done with having patience. Man, with kills, I'm still racing. I came home to nothing, ain't make excuses, I stay dedicated. My mama told me don't stop believing, yeah. Let go of your pride and hold your feeling, yeah. Stay focused, stay down and stay true. Okay, now I know. She told me stay down and stay true. I trust myself and not these people. People fake, that's what my dad is. Remember they used to talk and pick on me when they found out my dad again. Bitch, I got it out the mud. I share my blessings with my thug. Back when I was in that cell, I used to miss my mama hug. I left my fear scared to jump, left my pride scared to run. Hope one day I make him son. All of my friends dead and on. I'm fighting this pain with perky. Make the money, it don't make me. All they bitch you want slurp on me. In the rose of the curtains. My mama told me don't stop believing, yeah. Let go of your pride and hold your feeling, yeah. Stay focused, stay down and stay true. My mama told me don't stop believing, yeah. Let go of your pride and hold your feeling, yeah. Stay focused, stay down and stay true.
With that, we out this bitch. Make sure y'all go subscribe to KE Streams. That's where all the live streams gonna be at. Make sure y'all subscribe to King Emery 1230 on Instagram. And we out this hoe. Shout out to everybody that's supporting.